Hello, everybody. How are you? Today is April 16th, 2021, and I am here to accept a challenge um, that I had accepted, or not accepted, but how do I say this? Okay, I'm giving you my full attention. So, on a Friday in the beginning of the month of April, I had um, just jumped on a live and was just talking to friends and hanging out and was on live. I'm trying to get more practice and be more comfortable jumping on live. So I had mentioned that if people wanted me to jump on and hang out with me every Friday, I would between, I think I said like 4 and 6. I wasn't going to jump on today, but I'm here. I'm showing up, and I'm glad that you're here. If you're watching, so we're going to hang out today. I have this book that Michael Madre, hey sister, gave me. So I thought maybe we can answer a couple of questions that are on here, or that I can read you a question that's in here. Songtree, I'm so glad that you're here. You should come hang out with me. Do you want me to share the link with you? You can jump on with me. Christina, yay, you're here. Christina, actually, you're the one that said you were down to hang out at this time. And um, and I always think of you because you're like, yeah, I can hang out. So thanks for supporting me. So let's read a question from here. And or put a question in the chat. Any question in the chat if you want me to answer. Yay. Okay. I'm going to share the link with everybody that's on here. So if you want to jump on and just hang out, then let's do that. Junior, you better jump on with me then. Okay, guys, if you want to jump on with me, then just hit that that link that I just put in the chat. And we'll hang out. Okay, so let me just read this to you real quick. I got this book from Michael Madre, and I always say that I carry it around with me everywhere. I'm not a reader, but I carry it around because I hope that I will look at it one day, and I'm looking at it today. So the first thing in here is, why should I question my own decisions? Do you guys question your decisions? I know I do a lot of the times. Hi, Sandra. Thank you for checking in. Or thank you for hanging out with us. Okay, so I'm just going to read to you what it says in the book. Okay, so it says, why should I question my own decisions? Every day we are confronted with questions that cry out for decisions. Some of the questions are relatively insignificant. What should I have for breakfast? Shall I read this news article or skip it to the next? Others are more important. Should I take on the new project? Talk to my boss about a problem that has come up at work? Is it time for our family to start looking for a new house? It is perfectly natural and reasonable to want to answer each question as soon as possible. Why waste time being indecisive? Whether you're trying to decide on what to wear or whether to take that new job offer, the clock is ticking. There's often no right answer. Or if there's one, who knows what it might be? And so we figure that there's no point overthinking it. Might as well choose what feels right in the moment, or to put it in another way, go with your gut. One can justify this approach by pointing out the number of top business leaders are known for making critical decisions by relying on great instincts. And great instincts is in quotes. Or so the glowing profiles in the business wait, or so the glowing profiles in the business press tell us regularly, the gut truly became hip after Malcolm Gladwell's popular 2005 book Blink, which told stories of split second in instinctive decisions that turned out astonishingly well. But a growing body of research has concluded that our instincts, our natural tendencies to think or react in certain ways when faced with decisions, aren't as trustworthy as we might believe. We're subject to inherent biases, false confidence, irrational risk aversions, and any number of decision making pitfalls. Catherine McMahon of the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School, who has researched and written instinctive extensively on decision making, the science simply doesn't support the value of following your gut. In fact, it supports exactly the opposite approach to decision making. The psycholo- psychologist, no, I don't know what that word is. The psychologist and decision making expert Daniel Levitin concurs. If you make decisions based on your instincts, he says your gut is going to be wrong more than right. So, what can we do about that? When it comes to important decisions, we can put less trust in our feeling and more in evidence. We can seek input from outside sources and differing perspective. To try to see past our biases and limited views, we can generate more options to choose from when making decisions, which experts say is key element in arriving at better decisions. We can also factor in our innate tendencies to be overly cautious or too focused on short-term benefits and strive to make decisions that are bolder and more forward-looking. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat. Okay, I have 2 visitors that have clicked on the link, and I'm gonna bring them on. One is Sandra, and one is Songtree. Hi, Sandra.
Hi. Hi.
I can't see your face, but I can hear you.
Okay. I haven't put it on the cam yet.
Oh, okay. Let's hang out. How are you?
Doing fine.
Awesome. Songtree, can you hear me? Anybody? Songtree, are you there?
I'm still trying to figure out. There we go. There we
Oh,
go. There I am.
yay!
I don't see her though.
I know, I don't see her either. How are you, Sandra?
Oh, doing good.
Good. Tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are.
Let's see. I live in Bloomfield, New Mexico, right near Songtree, POT. And I have 2 daughters in college, one at Stanford. Well, not 2 daughters in college, rather one in college at Stanford, and the other one finished school. She's a dentist in California. Otherwise, we're just kind of taking it kind of easy with the pandemic restrictions and all that. So just kind of not doing as much as normal. I go back and forth to California to see my parents, my dad in a nursing home. So
Oh, okay.
spend a lot of time doing that.
Nice. So one of the things that I heard you say is that one of your daughters is a dentist and one of them is going to Stanford.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, I'm proud of both of them.
Nice. Where does your daughter reside in California, or where is she working out of?
She's up in Sonoma County, north of San Francisco, in the wine country up that way. And she practices up there in Santa Rosa.
Oh, nice. So whenever you have a dental need, you just call her?
Actually, I see my dentist here just because she's so far, and she knows him actually pretty well herself. So, but of course, she always checks out my teeth when I go there. So, In fact, I'm leaving next week to go see her and visit my parents as well. My parents live more towards Sonora, that direction. So,
Mhm.
so I'll go see them and my older daughter. And then Ayana will be going to move in with my older daughter in June. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we got a lot going on.
Yeah. And your daughter at Stanford, what is she majoring in?
She's going to major in human biology, but she's a pre-med.
Oh,
She's
okay.
doing her pre-med studies. Yeah. So that's what she's aiming for. And it's been a tough year because of the restrictions. And Stanford's a tough school, but she's persevering,
Nice.
and she's just at all day long school. That's all she does. She's
Mm.
no life.
Hmm.
But she's
So
doing
is
well.
so for Stanford, is she doing online schooling?
Yes, she's been doing online because Stanford did not open their campus. They only opened for special circumstances,
Mm.
for those students with those situations, but fall. And she didn't want to do summer. Summer will be her flex quarter, so she'll start in fall on campus. So
Okay.
that's what she's aiming for. And
Nice.
hopefully this situation won't get worse
I
with
know.
COVID. Yeah, it's kind of scary because we really don't know.
Hmm.
But that's what we're hoping. And that's why she'll move up with her sister up there, in the wine country, which isn't that far from Stanford,
Mm.
and spend the summer there, kind of transition herself into the Bay Area mode, I guess you might say, and all that. So we were just there about a month ago, and I
Mm.
took her to the campus and to see her sister and that sort of thing. So going back again, but this time just myself. So
Nice. So when your daughter she applied for Stanford, I'm figuring, did she apply for other schools as well?
this girl has been a very fortunate and blessed girl. She graduated high school as a salutatorian, and she received the New Mexico Davis Scholarship, which is like a full ride to a choice of 6 different universities. She
Mm.
received acceptance into the BAMD program at UNM. She also received the offer from Stanford for full ride scholarship. So
Mm.
she had a choice, and so she chose Stanford, and then she got a host of other scholarships. So she got the Cobell, the Manuelito, the Catching the Dream scholarship, presidential scholarship. I mean, she just got a whole bunch of scholarships.
That's
she
awesome.
she applied, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of essay writing, and several months of applying, but it paid off. So she's been blessed for sure.
A full ride to
So she's
Stanford.
done well.
Yes.
I know. You just can't turn that down.
Right. What would you say
It-
to individuals that are watching to that, like, to high school seniors or parents of high school seniors or juniors, or would you encourage them to do scholarship?
Absolutely. I mean, and to explain, and and let them understand it's not going to be easy. It's a chore, but it serves two purposes. I mean, it's worth it. You get if you receive the scholarship, obviously, and you have a good chance to if you
Hmm.
apply yourself. Plus, it's always a good practice writing essays for college, right?
Hmm.
So because she's already had to write several, so that gets you in a good a good starting practice, mode for college. And if you start early applying and getting organized which scholarships you will apply to. And for Native kids, there's the College Horizons. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have
College,
heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
okay, College Horizons is based in New Mexico, but it serves all the Native kids all over the country. And they have this program every year in the summer. And of course, this year it's virtual because of COVID. But when my daughter went the year before that, there was, I guess, two host schools. One of them's on the East Coast, and then you have another one kind of more centrally located or whatever. And she ended up going to the program that was held at the University of Michigan. And this program, they have you do a whole FAFSA. They walk you through everything, talk about uh, finances, college financial options, financial aid. I mean, they really get you prepared for that process. And they also have all the schools come over there, and they
Mm.
have actually the people that are in admissions that are going to help these kids know exactly what it takes to get into those particular schools. And they're going to look over your FAFSA and your letters of intent, for the universities and all that sort of thing, and they're going to help you to see how they look. I mean, do you need to improve it? What do you need to do? And it's a really great program. It's free, and it's almost a week long. And
Mm.
so they fly you over there, and you meet up with a bunch of other native kids from all over the country. So it's a great social thing. Plus it's a great way to prepare for college. You stay on campus, and you just learn so much. I mean, she really learned a lot. It was a great experience for her, and it kind of
Mm.
opened her eyes to what was really out there for her.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
definitely worth it. Great program. And Catching the Dream is another Native scholarship based in New Mexico for kids, and that one covers what the other scholarships won't. You see, so it
Mm.
takes the gap. So that one is definitely worth applying for. And the in New Mexico, for New Mexico Native kids, the Davis scholarship is a good one to apply for. It's for kids that are first generation students. And really, I mean, for Native kids, that's really great because I mean, to have a choice of 6 different schools to attend, and they really are supportive
Mm.
people in the program. So even though Ayana did not accept that scholarship, they told her that she's always a New Mexico Davis Scholar, and that if she ever needed help with anything or support, to reach out to them. So just
Mm.
very helpful people. So definitely good scholarship programs to apply to. And of course, Cobell, and if you're Navajo,
Yeah.
Manuelito, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot, and just encourage them. Just really encourage. I mean, no, it just seems overwhelming to them sometimes, but it's so worth it because college is expensive, and it just gives you more choices, I guess. If you
Mhm.
really apply yourself to be able to choose. Okay, I can either take this, that, or this one. That's a great feeling. When you have choices. So, and definitely
Yeah.
to do well in school. I mean, try. You don't have to be the top of the class, but to do the best you can.
Mhm.
Because in the end, it really, really does pay off.
Mhm.
And to work at school, and it's worth it. It's not always fun, but in the end, it's definitely worth it.
Not having to pay thousands and thousands and
Yeah.
thousands of dollars to go to Stanford. Stanford is like an Ivy League school.
Yes.
And, for her to maybe put in some work for essays, which she'll be using in the future. And a lot of the times what I hear, I am a um, one semester Haskell person, but to put in those essays, to put in that hard work, you know, and to have a free ride and not worry about paying, a college, that's freaking amazing.
To know that you'll probably graduate with no debt at all. I mean, that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking to go on to graduate school.
Mhm.
You don't want debt.
Mhm. Mhm.
And of course with Native Americans, you have a lot of options with graduate school too. So, I mean, you really, there's so much out there. Really go
Yeah.
for it. Just go for it. you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of programs out there, and schools are willing, and Stanford has great programs for Native Americans on campus. My daughter's on the Stanford Powwow Planning Committee,
Oh, wow.
different things. It's just so much there, a lot of support for sure.
Mm.
So,
Well, let me know if your daughter needs any, if she's going to be doing any raffles or needs any raffle items. We'll make sure to get her a ribbon skirt because I
oh,
know you were in my ribbon skirt
yes,
making
yes.
class. My first ever class I did
I
as
loved it.
a, that was in October 2019. I left a job that I was with for almost 14 years and I went out and did my own workshops and you were there and
I
I'm
loved it.
so thank you. I'm so thankful that you were there and I will send her a ribbon skirt if she needs one for a raffle.
I will
So
let
let
her
her
know.
know. Yes. So how have you been since then? I haven't seen you or talked to you since
Well,
then.
spending most of my time going, like I say, back and forth to my parents because my dad suffers from dementia, and
Mm,
so with COVID, it's been extremely difficult. So he's now in a skilled nursing facility, so they're just now allowing visitors. So
mm.
I'm going next week because I am vaccinated, and so now I can go, and he's vaccinated, so now I can go and give him a hug. So I'm so
Aw.
excited for that. And to see him, of course, my mom, because she's older too and her health is frail.
Mhm,
So I try and go out as often as I can. So that's what I spend a lot of time doing because I'm the only one that's so far from them.
mm,
And so I try and spend a lot of time to visit them. And plus, I take care of a lot of their affairs, which is a full time job in itself.
mhm,
So, between all that, just keeps me very busy. And otherwise, just trying to keep in shape and doing my walks. And in fact, I walked with Songtree the other day, and
yeah, I saw
and
that.
that sort of thing. Yeah, trying to keep diabetes in check.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's
mhm,
a curse in our family. So just trying to drop weight and walk and take care of myself. And I think we all need to do that. We all need to take care for ourselves too. We
mhm.
often spend a lot of time caring for others and doing for others, and we forget to take care of ourselves. So it's very important to take care of yourself,
Yeah, it
especially
is.
as you see your parents and you see what health problems can lead to. So
Mhm.
very important to take care of your health.
Yeah. When you go to California, do you drive or do you fly?
I drive. I really don't mind the drive. I'm so used to doing it now. It's a really a good time for reflection, that long drive. And
Mhm,
I usually drive to Kingman. I used to
mhm.
try and go to Barstow, but forget it. I go to Kingman now. And it's a good time to reflect on things and just, have that you time, just to meditate, think, do whatever you need to do, put things in
Mm,
focus or whatever. And I enjoy the drive actually. So, and definitely flying right now. Now,
yeah.
not with COVID. If I don't have to fly, I prefer not to. So I don't mind to drive, and I just break it up over 2 days. I stay overnight in Kingman, then do the second half the next day. So it's not so bad.
Mm. How long does it usually take you
Well, let's see. It
to
takes
Kingman?
me, about 8, 9 hours to
Mm,
Kingman because I, take my time
mhm.
and I spend the night. I try and get there early. I try and get there early evening just so I can enjoy the hotel room. I figure if you're paying for the room, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Get a good night's rest and then leave early the next day. And then that second day is probably about 9 hours.
Mm,
And again, and that's not counting if there's traffic, but I usually try and avoid the traffic days um, to get to my parents because again, they're kind of, at least they're not in the Bay Area, so they're out.
mhm,
Because if I was heading that direction, forget, I know I'd run into traffic no matter what day it was.
mm,
Um, but that's what I do. So it's about 9 hours a second day. So it's not so bad.
mm, mhm. And do
And
you
again,
stay
it's
a
an
long time?
enjoyable. What's that?
Do you stay a long time when you're there?
It varies. This time I'm going to stay list a little over a week. Sometimes I stay
Mm,
for a couple of weeks at a time.
mhm,
I just have to be back for a medical appointment myself. So
mm,
otherwise, I
mhm,
probably would stay a little longer, but I'll
mm.
probably stay a week and a half or so.
Nice. That's so awesome. I am so thankful that you jumped on. I'm so thankful to see your beautiful face again.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'm so thankful that you were there at my first workshop to support me in an endeavor that I am totally in love with, being my own boss and being able to do the workshops that I want to do when I want to do them. Like you, I travel between I'm on Snow Mountain Paiute land, which is northern Las Vegas. So I
Right.
travel from northern Las Vegas to California, and I've been here in Vegas for 3 months now, since
Oh
January.
wow, so fairly new there. Wow, I just passed through there my last trip.
Oh,
We
really?
somehow, I don't know how it happened. We weren't supposed to go to Vegas, but we ended up going. I missed the turnoff. I was talking to Ayana and I said, you know what? This desert area doesn't look familiar.
Oh,
They
no.
said, why, we're on our way to Las Vegas. I said, how did that happen? And I drive it all the time. So
Uh-huh.
it was kind of cool. So I hadn't seen Vegas in a long, long time. So we didn't really stop in Vegas, because just had no reason to. But I couldn't believe how much it's grown. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
Lord, it just grown so much. The houses are just the subdivisions. I just was wow. It was astounding to me. I have not been there since before Ayana was born. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
long it's been. So over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the growth was just wow. But a lot of nice homes and that I see there in subdivisions and all that. But wow, it's just kind of like a great Mecca in the desert, not just the Mecca it was before, but now a big one.
It is. It's very much populated, and I know that there's been a lot more population with the new football team that they have here. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have followed them, which right now I think I said that the best time to visit is like between November and March because it's not so hot. Like right now I'm
Yes.
sitting outside, but later in the summer days it's like 90 and still 100 degrees in the night. Um,
No.
but this house is always set to 69. They always have the air conditioner on. So I'm shopping for sweatpants and
Wow.
sweats right now for the summer because it's freezing in the inside. So I thought I'd come outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah, I don't know. The heat, I can't take the heat too much. It's just, that's why my parents too, the same thing where they live. It's just way too hot in the summer for me.
Mm,
It gets like 112 or, it's like, no, 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 no. I don't mind where Juliana lives up north of San Francisco because that's nice because they get the
mm,
fog sometimes roll in from the coast. So it kind of keeps the day cool and then it burns off. And so it's just always kind of, nice, like low 80s, I can handle that.
mm-hmm.
Not 90s, hundreds. No, 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 no. Too hot for me. Just sweat, just sweat too much.
Hmm.
So, but I know Southern California is pretty warm too. Because when Juliana was going to USC, it was just hot there too.
Mm.
So,
Sun's on my
oh,
face
it looks
now.
like the sun's getting you now
Yeah.
too.
It is, but it's gonna be dark. So it's been getting dark later, like after 7 o'clock
Oh yeah,
here.
it's changing. It's changing here too. It's getting darker later. I'm standing outside under my carport because everybody's probably eating dinner inside, and I'm really full because I ate a late
Hmm.
lunch, so just not too hungry. Did Songtree ever make it on?
No, she didn't. Her internet is bad. Getting to a better place. So
Oh,
I'm sure she'll be on shortly. Um, so when your daughter went to USC, did she graduate? Is that the same daughter that went to Stanford, or is it your other daughter that's a dentist?
my daughter, that's a dentist. She started off. She went to San Juan College here
Oh, okay.
for a short time. Then she got invited to the biomedical program at UNM. So she did that program, and she realized she was doing leukemia research. That was not the field for her. She just
Mm,
wasn't going to see herself sitting behind a microscope, all day. So she went ahead and transferred to Idaho State and got her bachelor's in zoology. Then she joined the dental, got accepted into the dental hygiene program, and then got her bachelor's in dental hygiene, and then applied to dental school and got accepted into USC. And so then she graduated USC in 2017,
mm,
and all that. So she did her residency up there in Eureka, way up north.
mhm.
And she just decided to stay in California. She wasn't sure if she was going to stay Southern or what, but I'm glad she didn't because I said Southern California's a little too crowded for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bay Area is bad, but for some reason I felt it was worse in Southern Cal.
Mm,
So she bought a home and everything up in Santa Rosa this last year.
mm.
So I'm very proud of her all by herself,
I
and it's expensive in California. So she did very well and purchased her own home and has her own place. And so she's doing very well. And, she's another one. I didn't have to pay for any of her schooling either. So yeah.
mm,
So again, it's just going for those opportunities and just reaching for them. And the kids used to make fun of her when she was in high school, and these kind of because she would turn in her homework and do her stuff and whatever, and they would say, "Gosh, are you like some Einstein or something?" And she would tell them, "It's not like I love school." She goes, but she says, she goes, I don't know about you all, but she goes, I don't plan on living paycheck to paycheck when I graduate from high school. She goes, that's not my plan. She goes, you guys can do whatever you want, but my plan is this. So if education is what it takes, and that's what I'm going to do. And
Mm,
so that's what she did, and, it's, you can look back and see some of the kids she knew and see the different paths they've taken, and some of them, I just probably didn't go on to school or quit or didn't, and then there's a couple that went on and did okay, and all that. But there's some that just did, and you see the difference, you see,
mhm.
in their lives and, all that, and what they're able to do with their lives and be comfortable. Juliana's been able to travel. She's gone to Israel, Hungary, Portugal. She's going to Italy if with COVID, we don't know yet. But again, she's a dual citizen to Italy. So she'll probably go at Christmas if the restrictions are lifted. But she went to Portugal and she's been to Switzerland. She's been all over. And having a career like that gives her that opportunity to do that,
Mm,
to afford to travel like that, go to Mexico
mhm,
and Hawaii and all these different places and everything. So, I'm very proud of her because she works hard for it. And she deserves to enjoy it,
mhm, mhm.
reap the benefits, I guess you might say. So very proud of her. And hopefully
Yeah.
Ayana's heading the same direction. They're both determined. So she's got kind of like she's fixated on a goal and she knows exactly what she wants to do. So it's like she's working right towards that goal, and I think she'll accomplish it. I have confidence she will, and now she'll have her sister over the summer to help push her along, because she'll try and take a class at the junior college in Santa Rosa.
Mm,
Hopefully she'll enroll in that this weekend, and just I think it's a chemistry class, and just because she can do an in-person lab, and that's so important to be able to do that. Whereas Stanford, she had to do everything online, even the labs.
mm,
So
mhm,
being able to take a chemistry class with an in-person lab is a huge advantage. So, and they have this, and it's only 11 students. So I mean,
mm.
that's great. So hopefully she'll get into that and do a work study as well while she's there in the summer. So that's what she's hoping to accomplish. So anyway,
That's awesome. So as a mother of two native students that have one's a dentist that has her own home and the other one is going to Stanford, what would you tell individuals or parents that have high school students that might be struggling or might not have an idea of what they want to do? What did you tell your kids?
well, I think first of all, they have to do what they choose to do. You can't choose for them. Number one, and I'm not saying that every child has to have the degree. Doesn't have to happen, because there's other opportunities for kids. So it's really, it has to be what they want, otherwise they won't be successful. You can't force them or push them into something they don't want to do.
Mhm.
But you want them to understand what they're capable of, so they can make a more rounded decision, right? So if they show an aptitude towards this or this area, let them know that this might be a great area for you. Ultimately they'll decide, but always encourage them. Always
Mhm.
encourage them not to get discouraged in high school, with grades, and not that they have to be the top of the class, but they should try and do the best they can for their own self, for
Mhm.
them,
Mhm.
not for mom and dad or whoever, for them. And if they're trying, if they have an idea what they want to do, like Ayana kind of did, there's always the option of the AP classes if they can try and get into those. And then there's dual credit. I just had one of my girls that was in my Girl Scout troop. She's actually Choctaw and Laguna Pueblo,
Mm.
and she just got she's graduating high school this year, and she graduated also from San Juan College with her degree, associates in psychology, because she did the dual credit just the other day, and she's been accepted into Columbia.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's going to do very well too. So she's another one, and her mom was a single mom. for
Mm.
many years, and her father passed away a couple years ago. So, but her mom has been, single mom for longer than that. But so you look at that, she's doing great,
Mhm.
and again, it was a lot of encouragement from her mom, an involvement
Mm.
from a parent, you see,
Mhm.
and then encouraging them even when they struggle, which, it was tough, getting a
Mhm.
dual credit, and a degree in high school and plus high school plus running track and cross country and all that. But, her mom was encouraging and, just involved with her education and her extracurricular stuff too, as well. So very excited for her too. And
Mhm.
I think there was another girl on my troop too. She's Navajo, and she was another one that she went to Navajo Prep, and she was the salutatorian last year as well. And I know that she would have been accepted into an Ivy League school herself, but she chose, because again, it's up to them. She
Mhm.
chose to go to Northern Arizona State, and she's doing very well there. And
Mm.
she's in an accelerated program there or something like that. So she's doing very well too. And she
Mhm.
also received a Manuelito scholarship and some other scholarships as well. So she's done really, really, really good too. And again, a parent who was encouraging and involved. You see the difference when you
Mhm.
see that. You see the difference in the students when you have parental involvement. That encouraging all along the way. And I started with my girls when they were in grammar school. I try to give them that interest in school when they're very little, get excited about their work when they're tiny, so that they loved going to school. They loved showing me their stuff. You see, that's
Mm.
what I did. So when
Mhm.
they were little girls, and then it kind of stayed with them. So it never was like, I hate school or, whatever. It never really was that. I mean, there was times when like, oh, this is so hard or whatever, but never like, I just want to give up or quit or I don't care, never. So I think that's the important thing, is just keeping them interested and encouraged. And I didn't push too hard for them to work while they were in high school, because I thought, you have the rest of your life to work. Concentrate on your schooling. Now, yet they're two different girls. So Juliana, she worked in high school towards the last year and a half, and Ayana didn't. See, so you got two different girls, two different personalities. And Juliana didn't have to, she chose to do it, but then she had to keep on top of her work too. See, so it was just the way she chose to go about things. So it worked for her, but I think in the way Ayana did, she didn't work, but she was involved with other things that kind of helped with leadership and different skills. Worked for her. You see, worked out good for her.
Mhm.
So it
You
just
know,
depends
just depending.
on the personality, and each child is different.
Yeah. I was just gonna say something right now. You mentioned something about things that um your daughter did that worked for her, other activities, and I also heard you say that some of your Girl Scout troop members. I love the Girl Scouts. My daughter was a brownie. Oh, actually, she was a daisy. Then she was a brownie. It ended at brownies, but um, she did a lot of other things, and I also participated in PTA or PTSA, and I even did PTA in her high school years. And she graduated high school, and I was still the PTA president for 1 year after she graduated, because no, but a lot of parents in high school think, the child is old enough to do whatever they want, or they're not as engaged in high school. And I know people are busy and all that stuff, but I think that extracurricular activities like Girl Scouts and
4-H.
volunteerism is amazing to put on college applications or job applications. But what would you say to that? Because I hear that in you.
In fact, the BAMD program, when she applied at UNM, they were very impressed with her extracurricular involvement and achievements through those
Mm.
programs. And she did achieve a lot. I mean, she achieved, especially in 4-H, she achieved a lot of very high ranking awards in 4-H. Um, and she was involved from the time she was 5 till the very end. So what they see when they see a child that's involved in these programs, has stayed with it, same with Girl Scouts, they see this child is not a quitter. You see,
Mm-hmm.
This child stayed with it the whole way through. And so, and then they're proud of themselves. They accomplish a lot. They learn a lot of leadership skills, public speaking. That was a big part of 4-H, community service, responsibilities, financial literacy, because they had to take care of turning in record books and about the feed costs and different things like that, and Girl Scouts with their cookies and fundraising, and a lot of community service in both programs. And she was also, Ayanna was also involved, well actually Juliana too, with FFA as well through the school. So both girls did Girl Scouts, FFA, and 4-H. Those were the three. And then both actually did dance too, and Juliana did gymnastics as well, when she was young, but they didn't stay with those as long as they did with as 4-H and Girl Scouts. Because you can't do everything forever. Once you reach a certain age, you'll have to narrow it down, and they did. And then you excel in those ones that you choose to remain in, right? So and they did, and they've got to travel. Like Ayanna went to the Congress with 4-H in Atlanta. She did the the national competition for horse judging. She's gone to state conference. She's been to youth getaway, all kinds of different trips and programs. She's won numerous awards from to the state level and national level, in 4-H. So, just a lot. And so the BMD saw all that. And so this girl, when she gets involved with something, she goes for it all, you see. And she excels and she succeeds. That's what they see. So maybe this girl's a good choice for this program or for this college, or for, you see what I'm saying? They see that. And then all the community service, because she kept records of everything. That's the other thing, is keeping records.
Yeah.
4-H, you automatically do that. See, because 4-H, if you really do the program correctly, you turn in a record book every year. So every year you build onto that record book and add to it and add to it. So that by the end, you turn in a portfolio. And that portfolio was, Ayanna's portfolio was over 300 pages.
Wow.
Huge, just from 4-H.
Wow.
And then she earned the Silver Award and the Bronze Award. Those are the highest awards a Girl Scout can earn. There's 3. She didn't get the Gold Award, the last one, but she got the Bronze and the Silver. So to accomplish those, that's like the highest you can go with Girl Scouts, So she did a lot there. And I was the leader. See, I was the Girl Scout troop leader. For first I was an assistant leader, then became a leader. And then 4-H, I was also a club leader. Then I was a project leader. And so it's that involvement, see? Being involved with them in a way that you're not like, you don't have to be a leader, but you can just assist or help doing whatever. I just was a leader. I don't even know how that ended up happening. It just happened.
Somebody signed you. You weren't there and they signed you up.
Well, actually, somebody had dropped off some stuff and said, you can take over the club. So that's how that started with 4-H. But Juliana had been in, so 4-H, I had been in 4-HG's involved with over 20 something years. And, so, and Girl Scouts since Ayanna was 5, so long time. And towards the end, I only had 4 girls left, because a lot of kids don't stick with it and drop off, but those 4 that remained are the ones that are the most successful. So those girls that went on to Columbia and then Stanford and NAU and they're all going on to higher education, so can't knock that. They all were successful. So I feel like I accomplished something with that. And their parents are still good friends of mine. And that was another thing, I think, is you make friends, you have a social thing. And we became good friends. And I saw that those are parents that were involved with their kids because they wanted their kids to be self-supporting, and successful in their lives, and to be able to take care of themselves and do that. And I saw that. That's how these parents were approaching it. And that's how I approached with my girls, because you want them to be independent. You want them to be self-supporting. And I wanted, since I had girls, I wanted to make sure they, as girls, were self-supporting on their own.
Yeah, that's important.
First. Just like Juliana she's not married yet or anything, and she has her own home. She said she can take care of herself. You see,
Mhm.
and I wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that was important because you never know, you know, never know in life, what happens or comes your way. You could be married and your husband could become disabled or something could happen. So you want to be able to take care of yourself and your family,
Mhm.
and have something, a career that you can do that. And I think that was the push, because that's what my parents did with us, and always pushed the education. My husband's family, the same thing, and stuff like that. So, and his family, they're all college graduates too, and they're all successful, and and it's all about that education and that encouragement
Mhm. It
from them.
definitely is. I believe in encouragement and supporting, and the other thing that you said too is taking care of yourself though first before you can take care of others. My mom always said nobody's going to take care of you but you. And sometimes we get overwhelmed with taking care of everybody else that we don't take a moment for ourselves just to breathe or
Yes.
just to meditate, like you said, or reflect on, you have a long car ride, but you can just reflect on different things in that long car ride. What would you say has helped you those long rides, or is there other stuff that has helped you?
Oh, I'm an active person. I like to do a lot of different things. And I am disabled. I use a
Mm,
cane, and from two accidents I had several years ago, but doesn't stop me from
mhm,
doing
mhm,
and being involved with my kids, because this has been many years now.
mhm,
Um, and I also like to do things that I enjoy, like the crafty things, of sewing, different
mhm,
things like that. I love doing that. In fact, I just did some fairy lights the other day. My mom got me hooked on fairy lights. So now I paint these bottles and have all these fairy lights. My husband says, you should sell those. But it's like, well, I don't really want to sell them though, because they're so pretty, but whatever, but it's just doing things you enjoy for yourself,
mhm,
whether it be if it's crocheting, sewing, getting involved with the class. If you're involved with church, I used to teach CCD, catechism. I don't do that now, so I don't have any kids in catechism. But just having, I think, some spirituality, I think, is important, where you can meditate and different things like that. I think is important. Family time, that's why I feel it's so important to visit my family. And I
mm,
think, especially in the last few years, as I've seen with my parents, that life is not forever. And so
mhm,
to spend and enjoy those times, because they're precious, with family members. And I know that this past year, with so many deaths from COVID, a lot of
mhm.
families lost family members without warning, without expecting it, and their lives were cut short. So I think that's an important thing to do. And then just continuing, you're always learning. Take some classes, whether it be online, local junior college, you can always learn something new, you know?
Mhm, mhm,
And I take, like me, I keep busy with so many things. I'm always busy, but with my father's affairs, he has a company. And so I'm on the board of directors.
mm,
I have to attend the shareholder meetings, and so you're always busy doing something, and
mhm,
that's good because that keeps you going, so you don't end up just kind of sitting around just watching TV or not doing much with yourself. You got to be active,
mhm.
for your health, for yourself, and then have those times of just solitude too, for reflection. Um, but I think that activity is very important, whether it be
Nice,
mental activity or and physical, is both very important. Very.
nice. How do you keep yourself organized? Because I hear that you do a lot of things and you're on the board and your shareholders meeting. How do you keep organized?
It's like a schedule and a calendar. I live by
Mm,
a calendar. So, and I've always promoted that to my daughters too.
mm,
Time management. It's like you you gotta keep a calendar. I especially with Diana was the thing I pushed. Keep a calendar, keep a calendar. Um, because you're gonna, forget this, and or you're gonna be running on the just running on the edge. That's just one thing I can't take it, running on the edge. So you just have to have a schedule, and you have to have a
mhm,
calendar that you look at every morning. This is what I got to do today, or whatever. And just have a plan. It's like next week I have some conference calls, different things. So I already have that on the calendar, and I schedule it. I know I have to leave for California next week. So I have all these. I just made an appointment for the car to get serviced on Monday. So you got all these things, but it's got to
yeah.
be on calendar. Otherwise, it's not going to work, So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, you have to be organized,
Yeah.
just organized. Same with planning at home, your meals, cooking, same thing, I didn't feel like cooking tonight, but well, you got to cook. Family's got to eat. So
Yeah.
what can you do? So I'm one of
Yeah.
those. I'm good at impromptu stuff. So threw something together. So,
That's awesome.
and
Yay.
still got in my walk, and there's Song Tree.
Yeah, she's here to join us now. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate this visit. It's been so long since I first met you, and then I did meet you. You were involved in my first ever workshop that Songtree helped me with. So thank you. And I loved the final product, your skirt that you sent a picture. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I do want to welcome Songtree. Stay with us and we can all chat.
Okay.
Hi, Songtree.
Hi.
How are
Can you hear
you?
me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was pretty thrown off by bad internet. Ugh, so frustrating.
Yeah, we got
But
decent internet finally, so but we struggled for a while too.
I
So
missed
did you
the
do?
conversation about the book.
Oh, we haven't talked about it yet. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I just read a paragraph of it, and one of the things that I highlighted in it is when it comes to important decisions, we can put less trust in feeling and more in evidence. We can seek input from outside sources and different perspectives. Do you believe in that? Speaking it
Oh
out
my
to
Yes.
your
gosh.
friends.
Yeah. Especially like as Indigenous peoples, like when people are talking about inclusivity and diversity and equity, do they have everybody at the table? You know, this last week, I keep tabs on all of the school boards, Farmington, Bloomfield, Aztec, and I saw that inclusivity and diversity and equity training. And I was like, and I saw the three names and I didn't recognize them. They didn't look like, Navajo names or any names like indigenous kind of names. So I was like, I got to go here and make sure that our voices are heard. And I did go, and two of the things that I'm promoting now is land acknowledgement. And I learned that from you. We learned that at the Ribbon Skirt workshop. And UNM is also promoting it. And President Garnett Stokes has started including it in her um, all of her functions and events. And so I went there, and the Native American population for students is actually the largest in Farmington. It's like 4,000 something, and like white people are like 3,000, and then down, it goes lower than that. So I was like, okay, and you can't really participate, but they have a Q&A for the panel. So I was like, out of this Native American population, what are they? What tribes are they? Because if you're just serving Navajo people, which I
Right.
love Navajo, I'm married to a Navajo. I
And your
carry
kids
the
are
Navajo last
Navajo.
name, and my kids are Navajo. But are you serving the other tribes, pueblos, or nations that are within that, Native American um,
Category.
moniker, basically,
Yeah.
category? And they didn't know,
Mm,
like all of their directors were there, the superintendent was there, school board was there, even the director of the Indian education program was there, and they could not say. They did say that they have an amazing like assistant who keeps track of all that, but she could not say anything other than Navajo. So I think it's good to bring up points. If you're serving like a population, you have to know who you're serving, right? And I think a land acknowledgement is a good place to start that. And just knowing who you're serving. So yes,
Yeah. That's the
totally
truth.
agree with what you're saying.
Well, I just remember that the Navajo programs at Bloomfield, even way back, was just suffering. I mean, it really was back when Ayana was in probably fourth grade, and transferred from what is it, Central to Nabani, and I was like, this is really not good.
Mm,
They were, they just weren't getting the involvement from parents or anything, and
mm,
there wasn't just a lot of strength within the program itself. And sure enough, when Ayana was in kindergarten, first grade, she was in the program. Then the teacher, how cute. And then the teacher that was for third grade, or no, second grade it was. I can't, yeah, second grade. She didn't take the required courses to
mm.
qualify. They have to, to take so the program ended because there
Oh,
was nobody,
wow.
qualified to teach it. That was horrible. And so
Hmm.
what happens when there's a gap like that, and then they transfer to another school, they've been out of it now for a year, and then it conflicted with the gifted program. See, the pull out gifted program. So it was really not good. And I guess now the way they run it, I haven't, been around the program in some time, but at Central, there was one teacher trying to deal with all three grades. And I'm
Mm,
like, what? Used to be you were in the Navajo program all day long, see, in grammar school. And then it switched to where one teacher just has like 30 minutes a day or something with these kids. I'm like, what? that's not a program,
mm.
a Navajo programs or whatever for this area. So, but there, like you say, though, there is not just Navajos. There's other indigenous peoples here too, and that should be acknowledged too, and part of these programs, I think, too, in the schools,
Mhm.
in this area. So, but anyway, so what's your book that you were talking about?
Oh, my book is a book that my comadre Donna gave me, and it's called The Book of Beautiful Questions.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily a reader, but I carry this around with me all over the place because I want to read it and I started to read it. But that's my problem is I'll read something and then I got stuff to do. So I'll put it down and then I'll never go back to it. But I carry it everywhere with me because I want to read it and I want to finish up reading it. So that's why it's important to carry it with me. And now being here on the live, I was thinking, oh, well, I'll just pull something out of here and then we can have a discussion, um, discussion around that. So that's my book.
Get over here now.
Yeah, I love to read. My problem's the opposite. Once I start reading, I can't put it down, and I will be cooking and reading. I just, and so I have to put it down. Say, okay, gotta wait. And I won't stop reading a book. I just read it until I just finish it. And I
Mm,
never forget a book I've read.
mm.
I just don't. I always remember. I'll just say a couple things from some scenes, and I'll remember the whole book. It's just this thing. I've always been like that, I guess. Just kind of. I've even read Ayana's books when she was in school. She'd bring home, the reading logs, and she'd bring home a book, and it sounded interesting to me, so I'd like read it, and I'd finish it in a night. I just read
That's
the whole thing,
awesome.
and then
I
I would say
know
that's a good book.
Songtree's a reader too, and I know that she can read a book and then read it over again and get something else out of it, which I've always loved about her. She loves to read and that helps her, I know, in school.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I think the hardest thing is for most people is reading what you don't want to read, that doesn't
Mm,
excite you, and then having to get something out of it.
mhm,
I think that was a struggle with Ayana way back in sixth grade, and the teacher, Mr. Olivas, at the time, turned that around. He told her, Ayana, you're gonna have to read a book that's not like fiction or whatever. You're gonna have to read a book that's nonfiction and that maybe is not something you would normally choose. So he gave her this book, and it had to do with a baseball player, and she was like, baseball? She had no interest in baseball or nothing, but it wasn't really about baseball. See, it was deceiving the cover. It was about racism and a black
mm,
baseball player and what he went through at that time.
mm,
And
mhm,
she never forgot that book, and she became
mm,
infatuated with that book. And that turned her around from reading just books you want to read or that are fiction or whatever, that changed the whole thing. And that one teacher, that told her, you got to do this. You'll see, that you're gonna like expanding your horizons when it comes to reading. And yeah, and so she did. And it changed everything. Just that one teacher. Interesting how that works. So did you do your walk today, Songtree?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you do your walk today? Can you hear me?
Is my internet bad still?
Can
Yeah,
you
I don't
hear
know.
us,
Can you hear us?
Songtree?
I can hear you guys a little bit.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there goes her internet. It just went black.
yeah.
She'll jump back on. Here she
Yes, I know
is.
she was trying to walk. I just gave her a scooter that used to belong to for her son, to Ayana, and
Oh,
and all that. So did he use the scooter yet?
He was so happy about that. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
yeah, we
I'm
can hear
sorry to
you.
mess up your live with
You're
my
not.
spotty internet.
You're fine. You're fine. I don't know if Sandra can hear us. She looks like she's frozen.
But I kind of didn't want to leave it on a sour note too. You know, of course I advocate for how important our voices are, and there is a good thing happening regarding reading with Senator Martin Heinrich's office. He recently did a policy workshop, like how do you make good policy, and I got grouped in with the education people basically that are, their concerns are education. And one of our policies was to improve library access.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'll just keep talking. Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
can hear you.
And I was able to participate, and it was great.
Awesome. She was able to participate and it was great. I'm gonna go like this so I can hide the logo on the back because everybody who knows me knows that I don't like this team, but I need a chair to sit in. Well, thank you, Sandra, for joining us. I appreciate you and you checking in, and I appreciate you. So if you guys are still, if anybody is wanting to join, please feel free to click on this link and join me. But thank you to Songtree and Sandra for jumping on. Sandra, I truly appreciate it. And I'm so thankful that you were able to hang out with me for a while. But if there's anybody else that wants to hang out, please feel free to click on that link and you can join my live. So basically, I was challenged to do a live, and that's why I'm here. That's why we're hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you, Yvonne Ohe, for checking in. There's a lot of different people that were on here, which I don't know are still on here, but if you are on here, please say hello and hang out with us. I don't know how long we'll be going, but thanks everybody for watching. I do, no worries, Sandra. Thank you for checking in. Clarissa, it's so good to see you, girl. I haven't talked to you in a minute, but I know that you and Songtree have been doing amazing things, and hopefully the board meeting that you went to was successful for the upcoming work that might be possible. So thanks for checking in, Clarissa. I know you're doing amazing work in New Mexico with the New Mexico Democratic Leaders Party, and have started your own stuff. So it's so great to have come in contact with you through Songtree. Thanks for watching. So going back to this book, I saw a question in the back that I wanted to pose to the audience. So let me ask you a question. Are you a person that likes to ask questions? Do you ask a lot of questions? Do you question a lot of things? I don't question a lot of things, but it's weird. Okay. I'm not a person that is going to probe to question you different stuff because I don't like to be questioned. That's probably why I don't do it. But if you're willing to answer my questions when I do question you, I appreciate it. So I work with a lot of youth, and I work with a lot of different types of people in general. And when I question, like, how are you? How's your day? Usually, who can tell me if I ask you this question, how are you? How's your day? What would your response say? First person in the chat gets a prize to respond. So let me know if I asked you, how are you? How's your day? What would your response be? Let me see in the chat. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, thank you. If you have YouTube, please follow me at AC and Associates right here. And YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm just hearing a police speaker saying, put your hands up. We have two police dogs, and if they find you, they'll bite you. But I'm in the backyard of my daughter's house, and I'm sure. Okay. Thanks, Clarissa. I'm always questioning. In some strategy groups, they will have 1 in 10 people be the questioner, and I'm usually that person. Laugh out loud. Okay, I'm just listening because I know, Clarissa, right? It's crazy. Hopefully they get them. I hear it's going that way, so I think we'll be okay. But we're on live, so if anything happens. You know what, everybody, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to stop the live because I'm sort of nervous because people can hop fences. So I'm going to just shut this off real quick and go inside and wait, let me see. Live, it's live. Oh my gosh. I think we'll be okay. Okay, I'm fine. I'm thank you for the couple of people that stayed on to find out what's going on. No, I'm going to stay there. That's okay. Thank you, Clarissa, for your concerns, but you are the first person to answer. So I'm always questioning. In some strategy groups, they will have 1 in 10 people be the questioner, and I'm usually that person. Laugh out loud. Okay, so the reason that I was asking that question was because in here, it's asking different questions, and I wanted to read that or probe that to you. Okay, I'm gonna, since you are the usual question person, I'm gonna read this small thing to you. What is my one big, beautiful question? What's your one big, beautiful question? Put in the chat, let me know. But what the book says, there are a myriad of beautiful questions out there, questions that can be used again and again to help you decide, create, connect, and lead. In addition to the ones in this book, there are many more you can devise yourself, but I also believe that you should try to identify one particular question to pursue over time. Call it your big, beautiful question, BBQ. It should be bold and ambitious and actionable. My own BBQ started a decade ago as how might I encourage more questioning? That's a good topic. Um, Writing this book is just one of those ways I'm still trying to explore the question. So what is your big beautiful question? Guys, do you have a big beautiful question? Questions. Who's got the questions? I'm going to ask you one more thing. How can I encourage others to question more? Okay, so like I was saying before, I'm not a big question person. Like I'm not going to probe somebody and like, well, what happened? What's going on? What did they do? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? I'm not that kind of person because I don't like to be questions. But I get a lot that people come to me and want to talk, and I'm always willing to talk. But like I said, when I work with youth, the question that I always ask is, "How are you?" And usually the response is, "I'm good, I'm okay," and that's it. And then that's all, and they're hoping to go along with their day. But for me, when I ask a question to a youth or somebody, it's because I really want to know. So when I ask you, "How are you?" and they say, "I'm okay," or "I'm good," and then I'll ask the next question, or, "Well, how was school?" And they'll be like, "Oh, it was okay. It's good." But then I'll go on to be like, "Okay, well, what did you do in your first class?" And or what did you learn in your first class? And they'll be like, "Nothing. We didn't learn nothing," or, just something real simple. But I'll be like, "Oh, okay, so you walked in your class and you sat down and you didn't learn anything?" And then usually they'll be like, "Oh, well, we learned this like mathematics, or we went over this," and that will help with the discussion. Another thing that I like to use is new news, good news. And I learned that from one of my besties, Jennifer Varenchek, and I use that all the time. New news, good news. So when I come into contact with youth, or when I'm doing a youth workshop, I'll say, "What's your new news?" Oh, I also do it at family stuff. There's any family in the chat or watching, put a heart if you've had me say new news, good news. So what I'll ask is new news. What's some new news that you have? And usually I won't have seen them for like a week or a month. So in that time, there has to be something new. And then there's also good news. So something good that happened to them. And, they can say whatever, but usually it's hard for them to remember new news, remember a good news question. I use it with my sister all the time, and she uses it with me, and we're gonna do that right now. So,
I'm on the live.
new news, good news. You're on the live.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Is Junior there?
No, he left, but Cash is here.
Oh, nice. Okay. I just took off. Is he coming back?
No, he's not. He's
Oh.
not a live kind of a guy.
Okay, Clarissa in the chat says, let me show you what she says.
Hi, Clarissa.
"I'm a social worker. I ask questions for a living, laugh out loud. I usually compliment people before I start asking questions. It puts people at ease and lets people know you like something about them. Even complimenting that they come even complimenting that they came to my office in a real way, not to manipulate." That's absolutely true. It's always good to compliment somebody or recognize something about somebody, because usually people don't do that, or usually people don't recognize the good. It's always, especially parents too, we usually recognize the bad, or recognize the scariness about something. But I always like to recognize my grandkids. Like if they bring me something that I ask for, or if they do something, I always tell them, good, thank you for listening, or thank you for doing what I asked you to do. So acknowledgement. Yes, Clarissa, acknowledgement is a big thing that I'm very much about. So new news, good news, sister.
Before
Or,
you move on, though, from that question, I really want to acknowledge that too, because that's a learning for a lot of us. Because sometimes I critique like the way my husband parents our kids, and it's really in a kind of a harsh way. And I contribute it to like his masculinity and stuff, but sometimes it's because of residential schools and the way our grandparents and then our parents were treated. They were treated harshly. They were
oh,
abused verbally, physically, sexually, mentally, spiritually. It was, you know, it's a hard, and there's like a lot of movements happening to heal that. And so I have to be aware of those ways so that I could, bring awareness to that and not let it not let break the cycle, basically. And that's hard. Just right now, you saying that, like my son just came out right now to grab his food that I brought home, and some stuff that I got from Ross, and I didn't even thank him. So thank you for, I could have said thank you, son, but I didn't. I was thinking in my head,
I'm on the live.
it's his responsibility to come help me, so yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn and implement. So thank you for saying that and doing that.
Mm, you're
New
welcome.
news, good news.
New news, good news. I'm on the live.
I know, huh? You go first, or
No,
did you
you go
already?
first. You go first.
Oh, I have a lot to say.
Go ahead.
So, okay, so new news is I kind of talked about this a little bit before my last internet chaos. Is today I had a really good day. I participated in this free policy workshop that was facilitated through our United States Senator Martin Heinrich's office. And so he taught about creating policy. Senators or any political leaders, they have to know the needs um, and wins of their communities. And so this was an awesome um, inaugural program that they did. And so they broke, like, if you're interested in like criminal justice reform, land, education, you join those groups and you work together for the last 2.5 weeks, I think. And they talked about how to create good policy. And ours was about education. And my group, I'm down to talk about education all the time. And they wanted to talk about libraries. And I was like, oh my God, I love libraries, I love reading. I remember when I used to, jump for joy when my mom bought me Sweet Valley High books, like stacks of them, And but now I advocate for culturally relevant books, and so I was telling them about, we had a House bill this last legislative session that didn't make it. It died in the House Finance and Appropriations Committee, and it's a bold bill, and they were asking for $96 million, and it didn't make it through. But I was explaining to the policy group that I'm so thankful that I was here, because maybe there was like one or two other Native Americans, and the architects of the tribal remedy framework, are the people that you need to tap, and that's a lot of people. And they were so thankful to hear that, and just to know that each of our three Pueblos, tribes, and nations um, need to be consulted with. So that's the newest news. We finished it today, and we got such good response from Senator Heinrich's team. So I'm really happy about that, because it wasn't a waste of time too. They're going to actually use the time that we committed and the information that we brought forward and work to improve our New Mexico libraries. So yay! And the good news, let's see, what's the good news?
Wait,
is-
before you go on to your next one, do you think that including new news, I mean not new news, do you think that for public library, does that include electronic, what am I trying to say? Like internet access, free internet
Yeah.
access and stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So one of the ideas was about mobile libraries. And so I was telling them, okay, I'm thinking pie in the sky, which means unlimited funding, unlimited resources, because you got to think high and then negotiate down, So I'm like, if you want to do mobile libraries in tribal communities, you're going to have like, I don't know, what ply kind of tires and what range of internet access. And if you don't have that, there better be like a trunk with some ATVs in there so that you can drive out to people's houses and drop off books and pick up books, or, get a strong place where people can come to and download audible books, or, just thinking outside of the box, because a lot of our students, aunties, grandmas, anybody that reads, doesn't have the access like you would have if you were urban.
Mhm.
So just they really appreciated that perspective, because some people don't have that perspective.
They should use those things that fly in the sky now. What are they? Like
Drones.
yes.
That would be so awesome, because if Amazon can do it,
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. If Amazon can do it,
we can. The federal government can. Yeah, so that was a really good um thing that I took part in, and I really didn't help. I mean, I always devalue myself like that. I was sick last week, so pretty much my whole team did all of the work, but I was able to come in today during the presentation and share what I've known, what I've been advocating for, and my experience, and all of that. So it was really appreciated.
oh, that's good. Clarissa says congratulations.
Thank you. I
And
love Clarissa. She
I
is such an
know.
awesome mentor. Really, when I'm down and I call her, and she just lifts me back up right away. So thank you so much, Clarissa. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, she also says Skylink, we need funding to get Skylink internet in our homes. I don't know what Skylink is. What is
I
that?
don't even, it's probably internet access, like for rural communities, I'm guessing.
Okay, she says Skylink is first come first served, but it costs $4.99. Skylink is Elon Musk's corporation. Oh, okay.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. And she loves you too.
Aw.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were talking about that internet access. They were, one of the responses they had is how much money they've spent on providing mobile hotspots.
Mhm.
So, I mean, is that sustainable?
But is that working too? Are they able to range how many people are using hotspots as opposed to, you know, other things like Skylink?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't get that far down deep into the weeds, so
That's the next session, huh?
yeah,
Follow up.
conversation needs to always be happening.
Yeah. Okay, so you did So now it's the second portion of good news, new news.
Oh, good news is what could be good news? Something simple. Oh, I joined a hydration challenge this week. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, I'm pretty transparent, and I shared on Monday that I really needed to step up as far as my nutrition and hydration go. And so I challenged myself to drink. I'm parched right now, by the way. That's your body saying you need water. I challenged myself to drink 100 ounces of water a day. That's about like 16.9 ounces, ounce bottles a day. And then one of my friends came in and she's like, join this hydration challenge. It's a gallon of water a day. And oh my gosh, like the first 2 days, I probably was in the restroom most of the time, honestly. And she was like, your body's toxin, or, your toxins are coming out. And so it's Friday and I didn't make my goal today, but I know that, how important it is. I've learned how to read my body now, like when I need water. And today I took Junior in for his 10-year, he just turned 10 years old in March. And even Dr. Bamba from San Juan Peds was like telling him, no soda. You need to drink water. And if you're going to drink like juice or Gatorade, just drink one. And I remember our mom saying, limit or avoid, And then we went to Dad's diner for lunch, and he didn't order soda, which we don't allow him to anyway. He ordered chocolate milk, and after that, he was like, I didn't order soda because Dr. Bamba said. So that's good news. Yay!
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Yeah.
Chocolate milk. That's my boy. He's always loved chocolate milk.
Yes, if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. That is so true. And packing that water around, gotta have it,
I know, like a book. I should start carrying a bottle of water, huh?
Yeah. So that's my good
Yes.
news and new news.
Yay. So my good news and new news is good news is I recently did a workshop for a organization, and they sent me the results because it's really good to do data and surveys. I'm all about data and surveys for youth workshops or just workshops in general. And that's because it shows you it shows different people how people value you in writing and have learned in writing, not necessarily valued you, but like it shows the progression of how much they learned while you're doing surveys. So anyways, they sent me the results of my youth workshop that I did, which was Native athletes in sports. And one of the comments that two comments that I'm going to say is, one is we need more time, and it's already a 2-hour workshop. And the second one was, I love how Averill incorporates cultural stuff and makes us and encourages us, something like encourages us, and she thinks we're cool or something, or she wants us to be cool or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. And yeah, that's my new news. Secondly, my good news is, oh, I know. I'm going to show you something.
Did you get a tattoo?
No.
Oh.
I got my
you got
second
your
shot.
ouchie.
Yes. So I got my second shot, my Pfizer I had an appointment at 2:50 here in Las Vegas, and it's at the Cashman Center. So it's a really big like conference place. But my daughter also mentioned to me that they're actually going to be closing the Cashman Center because um, it's not that crowded to get vaccine. And it's true because when I went in there, it's being done by what do you call those people that are military, but they're not in the military?
Oh, reserve.
I think so.
Yeah,
Well, they're all in military. I
yeah,
mean, they are in military. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
I
Um,
totally know who you're talking
okay.
about. Let
If
me see
somebody
this real
knows, let
quick.
us in the chat. If somebody
Yeah,
knows what we're talking about, let us know in the chat.
I
But
have a
as
funny story to share about that.
okay, but let me finish. Wait, let me
Yeah.
finish. So I was walking in and it was like straight shot. My appointment was at 2:50, but I went in at 2:30 and I just walked in,
Straight
went
shot.
straight straight shot. And there was some people that were at the tables that were going to give the vaccines that were reading books. So that might show you how, how
The
slow they
sign.
are. Yeah. Okay, so tell me your
Oh,
funny story.
so we went to Kirtland a long time ago, maybe 3 months ago, to go get our COVID test, just because we didn't know, they were offering them, and so we're like, me and Cheyenne were like, might as well go, and so we drove up, and one of those persons in like, oh, what's their official name? Um, Army fatigues was, at the gate, at the entrance. And oh my gosh, he was young and he was cute. And I was like, do you want my daughter's phone number? And she was like, no, no, give me that. And I was like, thinking like, yeah, he's probably got it together, but people in the military, have
Military
problems too.
reserves.
Yeah. But National Guard, that's what it is.
National Guard.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Boop, boop,
Jay,
boop, boop, boop.
10 points, 10 points. During April's events, she always has like door prizes, like, $25 Amazon gift card. And of course, like the youth are going to be like, heck yeah, we're paying attention, so she's like, 10 points, 50 points, so. But the only bad thing I'll say verbally over is like, you have to keep your own score. So I'm like, I'll forget it. The youth can have the points.
But I figure if you have to keep your own score, then that's less work that I have to do or somebody else has to do.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
I'm busy doing the presentation, and then the other adults that are there too, they're playing as well. So
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
have to make sure that nobody's lying either. But hopefully, I won't know if you're watching. Oh my gosh, don't cheat on my stuff. But
No,
anyways,
I went to that one of your events and it was really good. I really appreciate you talking about, sports and like how it intertwines into some people's lifestyles. Once I was talking about rodeo and how people have, mastered their horsemanship and they create brands out of that, and it's a lifestyle. And so I'm glad that you were able to talk about Kata Dodging Horse and Sonia Dodging Horse, who were the most recent world champions in barrel racing, both in women's and juniors. So that was cool. Good
Yeah.
job, Steve.
2019 champions, INFR champions. So both a mother and a daughter. That was awesome. One of the things that you had mentioned or you had said, can you share with people the phrase that I love that I always
Yeah,
forget?
you need to write it down, girl. Put it on your whiteboard.
Let me put it in the chat. I'll remember. Wait, let me see if I remember.
No, but I don't remember the guy's name. I'm gonna have to research it. But he was part of the IJRA family with it, which is Indian Junior Rodeo Association. And he's a coach, a rodeo coach. And I was telling everybody about how I grew up in California and I didn't feel like I belonged basically because I didn't grow up around horses. I didn't grow up on the res. I didn't grow up knowing horsemanship. I don't know the Navajo language. And I went to this parent meeting and membership meeting. And he basically, in addition to everything else he said, respect the sport because
yeah.
it brings you opportunities. Respect the sport because it brings you opportunities. And that is so true, from, wearing the proper attire to using what you have, doing what you can. And, you just learn a lot about horsemanship, taking, doctoring your cattle, vaccinations, like it all is like different ways of knowing. And I'm so appreciative for him saying that because it really made me feel like, I belonged. We all had a common interest being there, and that was to support our kids in the sport of rodeo. But it's more than that. I mean, they learned so much about helping each other out because sometimes your horse goes lame and then you're out money. You pay entry fees that are hundreds of dollars. And then when somebody gives up their horse and you're competing against them, those are strong character traits that you learn. And so my kids learned a lot and I really miss the rodeo. We got out because it just became too hard financially, and we ended up selling our horse but my kids still have those foundational lessons. If they had to get on a horse now, they would know how. If they had to hitch a trailer to a truck, they would know how. So, and it's helped them, in life, on their resumes, scholarships, different things like that. So respect the sport. It'll bring you opportunities.
And one of the things that I mentioned as well is not only sports, but like education or your career. Respect what you do because it brings you opportunities. Respect your education because it brings you scholarship. It brings you higher education opportunities. Respect the sport because it does bring you opportunities. And that's the thing that we talked about in this workshop. And I was really thankful and lucky that you were in there. And then somebody in our meeting the next day was like, yeah, we went to that workshop. And one of the things that a lady said was that respect of sport. She said it word for word. And I was like, dang, I got it right. Maybe she wrote it down because I didn't write it down. But she was like, and that it's true, respect the sport. It'll bring you opportunities. But in anything, it will. Clarissa says sportsmanship and manners and work ethic. And that's all true. So yeah.
One more thing, if I could, April, an extension onto that is right now we're in a pandemic, right? So high school sports are really taking a hit, because there's a lot of conversation out there like, their kids aren't getting the opportunity they can to to access scholarships or to get signed to schools or whatever. And I say, speak up about it. Like, think about how you can respectfully communicate that to school administrators or, the associations that create those policies. Because in my opinion, right now you can't have an F and participate in sports. But what about Native American students that are more affected than non-natives? We didn't get laptops, 6 months into the pandemic. And so some kids and families have no control over this. So I think that they're suffering the most when it comes to these policies that haven't been adjusted during the pandemic. So write letters, call your ADs, athletic directors, and say that, because I am, and I know it's possible because when the pandemic first started, they waived Fs. Anybody could participate. And so I think that that policy should continue until this pandemic is done, because we go back to regular and then we stop and we go back and stop. But, who's suffering? It's our kids. And even if they don't have a chance to go to state or anything, they could participate by practicing, by raising money, by whatever, preparing for the next season. And so I just want to say that if you're frustrated, I've gotten the mindset like quit complaining about stuff and think about how to support, how to bring resolve, to situations that we face.
Or keep complaining and write it down and send it to somebody so they know that you're bothered by it. Because
Yeah.
if you're bothered by it, then somebody else is bothered by it. So don't stop complaining, but write it down and send it to where it needs to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Okay, so what else? What else do you have to share? What updates do you want to help before I get off? Because I'm going to get off in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to
Okay.
log off. So I know you're helping with something with Deb Holland, and you're doing a text group thing, right?
Oh, yes. So, I am now involved in politics. Well, I was before because I was the tribal outreach organizer for the Democratic Party of New Mexico this last election cycle. And now I have put my hat in the arena and I got elected to be vice chair of the Democratic Party of San Juan County. And what does that mean? So it means I have a voice in 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 my county. And oh, I got distracted by that. Sorry. Yes, girls. Woo woo. Um, 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 um. Oh, and so Deb Holland has become Secretary of the Interior now, and her seat is open. And the State Central Committee in Albuquerque, Congressional District 1, decided that Melanie Stansberry is the Democratic candidate, and she's going to go up against Mark somebody. He's a Republican. And so we need to make sure that we keep a Democrat, Melanie Stansberry, in that office, because we need to keep moving forward, and our voices need to be heard. And so Melanie Stansberry has been endorsed by many Native people. And so do you have family in Albuquerque?
Yes.
Do you have friends in Albuquerque?
Yes.
Then I challenge you to call them and make sure that they are registered to vote and that they vote for Melanie Stansberry, because the Republican Party will pull out all the stops, including lies and deceit, to win that seat. And so if you have $5, donate to her campaign, donate to Act Blue, because she needs TV time. We need people organizing, and there's like something like 56 days. It's on our birthday,
June 1st. Everybody,
So,
June 1st is an important day, not only our birthday, but you have to vote by Albuquerque in Albuquerque.
yes. And so you can vote early. If you're a registered voter, you can request your absentee ballot, and or you can go in person. But it's safe to vote by mail. I voted by mail, and a ton of people vote by mail. So don't let anybody tell you, because if they tell you can't vote by mail, they're just trying to create a barrier for you to vote. But if you prefer to vote in person, that's going to be happening too. But anyway, I'm running phone banks and phone banks are when you call people and you ask them to vote and you help them make a plan to vote. And what that means is you're helping them find their local voting convenience center, and you're letting them know about this special election, because most people vote, or I don't know if this is true, probably most people vote only when there's a presidential election. They don't vote. Yeah, you
That's
agree?
I agree for myself because I don't even remember going in to vote other than a presidential election. And why is that? Is that because I don't know when it is? Yes. So just like what Songtri is saying, it's important to vote for everything, school board, tribal, local levels, not just when there's a presidential election.
Yes.
I agree. Yes.
And so please, if you have relatives, call them and remind them to vote now, because it takes time to make a plan to vote and to, carve that time out of your day. And a lot of people wait to the last minute, the day of, and then they get there. Or somebody's going to say, don't forget your ID. But in New Mexico, you don't have to have your ID to vote unless they changed the law since the last election. But yes, so I'm glad to have a seat at the table with the San Juan Democratic Party and make sure that our issues are heard. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, New Mexico has the highest rate of that. And so I worry about my daughter. I worry about her friends. I worry about our aunties and our uncles and people that are being taken and into human trafficking. And we can no longer allow that to happen. We got to protect ourselves and our sisters. And it's MMIP now, no longer MMIW, no longer MMIWG, no longer MMIWG2. It's MMIP, but we have to respect the process. So all of these issues, we have to stand up.
Is it MMI, missing and murdered Indigenous people?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
So
Well,
I'll step off of my podium now. But
Your
please, if you know
soapbox.
people in Congressional District 1, which is Bernalillo, Albuquerque, all of that area, call them right now. Do it right now.
After this live.
Yeah.
Is Cheyenne gonna vote?
No, she can't vote because we live in San Juan County. So
Oh,
that's why we'll be calling. Let's see, who can we call out right now in
Michelle
Albuquerque?
Marable.
Michelle Marable.
Wait,
our
let me
cousin
think of
Michelle.
somebody else.
James Campbell. James Campbell. I know I see you on my feed, so maybe once in a while you check in, but I know you're from Taos. Let's see who else. And Dre. Chicka Dre. I know you're out there. So Chris Nez, Kelly Nez, all of my friends, dude. Sippy, the whole Sippy campus, everybody at UNM. Like
Mal
all of you guys.
Mesquat, you need to vote and before June 1st and send me a gift as well. Just kidding.
I'll
Just
leave.
kidding.
No, but serious. I recently, I could go on forever. I
Bye,
could gather up
Clarissa.
this stuff.
Clarissa says she's jumping off now, and I'm gonna jump off too. So
Oh my gosh, I'm just getting started. Just kidding.
You should get your own channel, sister.
I
We
know.
can come join me again next Friday. You'll be my special guest again.
Okay. Well, I'll have to see.
Oh, God.
We have to make it another time because Friday nights, come on, girl. No, just kidding.
You're in a pandemic. Stay home.
I have homework.
I'm vaccinated.
No, seriously, I'm graduating next month, so I have to make sure I got my homework done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for bringing up that topic because you're graduating. Whoop, whoop. What are you graduating from?
Graduated from UNM online, and it's my bachelor's in Native American Studies with emphasis in leadership and building Native nations, and a minor in business management.
Awesome. So you are going to be needing pictures. I hope you get pictures. And once you get your picture, or Cheyenne wants to send us a shout out encouraging her mom for graduating. Send us a picture. So I'm doing this special events on June 28th, a live June 28th, 2000 class of 2021 graduation for Indian country. So upload your video or your video 1 minute or less, and upload a picture, your graduation picture, to this link that I put in the chat. It's bit.ly/PAKUgrad2021. So please, if you're graduating, if you know somebody that's graduating, usually when you graduate from a school, it's only those graduation students that get to be recognized, but we want to recognize all of Indian country, and we want to highlight you. So send us a picture or a video to bit.ly/PAKUgrad2021, and you'll be included on our live stream. That's all I have to say. And thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Indian Associates and Paku, for doing that. You guys are so awesome.
Thank you. Shout out to Robin Gomez, who's watching. She's freaking amazing. And she's the operations manager, and Eric Sanchez is the ED, the executive director. So, you're in good hands, and we're going to be doing amazing work. And I'm luckily able to contract with them. So it's been really great year. And thank you to Sandra. Sandra jumped on, and I know you had shoddy internet, but wow, for her to come on is so crazy, because she was at the very first workshop that I did as my own business, and that was because of you. So thank you so much for always supporting and encouraging me to go big and better. A lot of people say it's that I'm fancy, or that I am over the top, or I'm I put on that extra something, but look where it's brought me.
Yeah. I remember last year's virtual event, that's the beginning of virtual graduations. And oh my gosh, thank you guys. You guys did such a good job. I was all crying. I was like, oh my gosh, because, my daughter was a high school graduate last year, your niece. And so we have to acknowledge these events even during this time. So I'm really thankful for your guys' technology expertise and all of everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and thank you for being here. I'm going to say ta'a pingamayay.
Just
Don't
kidding.
Don't do it.
Just kidding. My family's waiting for me, so yeah, I better go too.
Okay, and you got to study too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was so good to see you. I'm going to leave this up, and we're just going to say bye. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Friday. Hopefully you'll be available to jump on with us. Okay. Well, shout out that one lady's name again. Who do you need to vote for if you're in Albuquerque?
Melanie Stansberry.
Melanie.
And you can go to the Democratic Party of New Mexico website if you need information.
Okay. There you go, people. So get on it. Vote if you're in Albuquerque. Go out there and vote. Okay. We'll see you guys all later. Thanks for joining us.